Hello and welcome to No Time to Quest. My name is Jane. In this video, there was a live stream from the Ashes of Creation developers and it was about an hour long. I will leave a link to the YouTube link for that, but what we're going to do in this video is actually recap it so you don't have to watch the whole thing. We're just going to take the main information and, basically spew it out as quick as possible. So I'll get on with it. So the first thing that I noticed that it seemed that Alpha 1 was originally planned for August, and I did not see, but there probably was an announcement saying that it had been delayed, but it seems that the Alpha 1 testing will now actually take place before the end of the year, because that's when the studio is going to be moving from one location to another. So they've postponed that until after Alpha 1 until early next year, which means that the game Alpha 1 will be, between now and the end of the year. And that Alpha 1 itself will actually be an Alpha Island. So it's not going to be the whole of the world and just a very basic stage. It's actually going to be like a selected area, which is going to have like limited content basically. And in fact, that will obviously expand over time as it goes to Alpha 2 and then the betas and stuff like that. But they said at some points they actually don't really plan on necessarily having all of the features available at least very early on, because they want to keep the game fresh even for the testers. They don't want people to come into the game, test it, think they've done the whole game, and then just never play it again. So that's the alpha news basically. They also showed off a video talking about the hybrid combat. So for the hybrid combat, there's going to be two modes, which is basically going to be the tab targeting mode with the reticle like action mode, if you will, and you will be able to switch between the two sort of at will. Now they did say here that some of the skills in the skill tree, you'll actually be able to change some skills or like modify them in a way that maybe it was a tab targeting ability, but it will actually suddenly become a reticle action ability, which is pretty interesting. You will of course be able to dodge and do that kind of stuff as well. Interestingly, even in the tab targeting mode, you will be able to use your weapon attack as a sort of like a mild AoE. So basically it depends on your weapon, how big your AoE cone will be with your just left click ability. If you've got like a big pole arm, they said that'll have a big sweeping arc, whereas if you've got like a little dagger, it'll have a very small arc. So even in the tab targeting abilities, you'll be able to do a very minor AoE. Now obviously all of this can change, by the way, they make that abundantly clear all throughout, so all of this can change. They said if the testing for the reticle combat versus the tab targeting combat needs work, then obviously they will do that with the feedback from the community. Although like if you guys aren't in Alpha 1, which I'm not, you won't actually be able to get into Alpha 1, but they will take all the feedback they can get for how it's feeling, how smooth it is. They appreciate that combat is super important. One interesting note to me is that they're not planning on overwhelming people, with like a skill bar that's like 3 deep and 9 wide, so you have to like keybind everything. No, you're going to have like a limited selection of skills that doesn't overwhelm the player, but in actual fact you will also be able to customize the size of the UI and all that kind of stuff, but you'll be able to customize what kind of skills you want. Do you want, say, like the more passive skills that maybe regenerate your health or whatever, or do you want these more active skills? So you'll be able to sort of choose the complexity of your own game style, and I really like the sound of that. They also showed a little bit about sieges. They didn't actually show an active siege, but they just showed it off. They showed a castle off in the world and spoke a little bit about it like that. Now these are working siege windows, so I think they said it'd be like a month, that every month you'll be able to have your castle sieged, or that's the only time you'll have to defend it, or you'll be able to attack a different castle. Now initially these castles are going to be owned by NPCs, and these NPCs, the way it'll work at the minute is you'll have to kill them all, and then there'll be like a raid boss in the castle, and whichever guild gets the most damage on it will be the one that takes it. Now they did say that is very much subject to change, because if they don't like that mechanic, they'll obviously just scrap it. Also, the castle that they actually showed on the video, on the stream, is apparently about a quarter of the size of what they actually will be, and obviously they didn't show the destruction and that kind of stuff. And when you're actually trying to do that siege, then obviously there will be equipment, catapults, all that kind of, rams, all that kind of good stuff. And the benefits of actually holding the castles will get stronger over time. Obviously, so your siege windows become more and more important to defend if you've got a castle, because you're getting more and more stuff from that the longer you hold it. And one thing I like the sound of is that your castle doesn't just, you set the taxes and stuff like that, but it doesn't just work for the benefit of the castle, it'll work for the benefit of the node where people live and have all the stuff. And it points that the revenue, the taxes from that the castle was gained will go from the castle to one of the nodes in like a caravan, and everybody who lives there automatically is a defender. But you know, obviously you want that to arrive because you need that money in your node. So I really like the sound of that. There was some extra information talking about node progression in terms of assets, but really that's just like a visual thing rather than say game mechanics. Now, I know this isn't like literally everything and all the little details. If you want to just go and check out the whole stream, then I will leave a link to it. It's like an hour and 10 minutes long. I just wanted to come in and try and hit the key points. I'm trying to get up to speed with the game. You know, there's a lot of people interested in the game now, and I'm definitely one of them, obviously since all the boom. And yeah, apparently I had my account registered ages ago, but sadly I obviously never buy the Kickstarter. What a fool. But yeah, I'm very interested in it. That was the quick recap version of it. I mean, like quick. So I hopefully I hit all the main points. If you're really, really, really obsessed with the game, then just go check out the live streams. You know, you'll have all the Q&As and stuff like that. But for me, that's the like key points, and hopefully you enjoyed it in this format. Have a most beautiful day. Like and subscribe. Goodbye.